Hello, everyone. I want to talk about how these incel moms, here they are here, don't get things their way, and then they go on shooting sprees in their family units. You know how Elliot Rodger, right? Right? Elliot Rodger, he didn't get his way, so he went on a shooting spree and then killed himself. That's exactly what's going on here with these women. It's that people don't recognize that's what's going on here. This isn't just a family squabble. This is a shooting spree. And I'll tell you why I'm calling it that. These two cases have something in common. The father's leaving or get custody of the kids or just joint custody. And then they kill their children. However, what you don't realize is that one of their children, in both cases, are teenagers. They're not little children that dad's taking away. In this case, this is one Youngblood, that's her, and this is her daughter. She's not even the daughter of the man who's leaving her. So when these women kill these teenage daughters, what they're doing is they're taking a tantrum because they're not even connected to the men that they're angry with. Now, let's get into the top of this. Mother, 37, convicted of murdering her two daughters, age 15 and 5. Right? Revenge plot on ex-husband. And she was dragged screaming from the court after prosecutors called for life sentences. Again, now I want to prove to you, look at this. Veronica Youngblood, that's the young woman, 37, admitting to sedating and killing Sharon Castro, 15, and Brooklyn Youngblood, 5. So the 5-year-old belongs with the father, but her older daughter, Sharon, comes from another man. So how is she getting even with him by killing her daughter, her older one, who isn't even his? See? Now, the jury was not convinced that mental illness was a mitigating factor in her decision to give her children sleeping gummies before shooting them dead. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. And there's not only is they're not getting their way, there's something else going on here. This is a beautiful woman. It doesn't matter that she's 37. She'll pick up another man in a heartbeat. But her daughter, being 15, is probably still living with him, and she's probably going to get in the way of getting a new man. That's one of the other things that doesn't get mentioned here. So let's see. I want to get into let's see. Right here, yes. As her teenage daughter lay dying, Veronica called her ex-husband, Ron Youngblood, to say she hated him and that she had shot the children. See, her children aren't even human beings to her. This is about getting at daddy, right? Who dare leave him. And luckily, they actually gave her 2 first-degree murder charges, which I'm glad. You scumbag. Now, there's a few other things I want to mention about this. Oh, this one, Youngblood killed her children in the apartment in revenge for ex-husband's plan to relocate with their youngest, Brooklyn. So again, he's leaving with the younger one, which is his child. Why is she killing the 15-year-old who's still with her? Right. My guess is that he might have gained a close bond with this older girl. And she says, screw you. This incel mom said, screw you. I'm just going to take everyone out in my family unit. And because it's within the family unit, society doesn't recognize it as a murder spree, but that's exactly it. This is an Elliot Rodger murder spree done by women, by mothers. Yeah. Here, I'm not going to bother even reading this. This is the defense attorney trying to do the old, oh, she had a rough childhood and, she had PTSD or whatever. I'm going to ignore that. She had bought a handgun 9 days before shooting her children dead. So this was completely planned. This wasn't an off the cuff thing. She's not crazy. She just knew this man was leaving her and she was going to take a tantrum. She was going to say, screw you. Now, Youngblood also gave her children sleeping gummies to ensure they would not be able to resist, right? Brooklyn died with a shotgun to the head, gunshot to the head. Sharon, though, called the police after he was shot once in the back. See what happened here? She woke up after, when she heard the gunshot, and she tried to get away. And so mom shot her in the back and then in the chest. She said, you're not getting it anywhere. And she died in the hospital. What an incel scumbag. I'm going to say that again. This woman is an incel scumbag, right? Now, we'll get into this incel scumbag here. Now, what I like about this, Jay father mourns son's murder in Florida, hopes to bring changes to the court system. It's about time. This is about 60 years too late, as far as I'm concerned. This should have happened decades ago. So here's the father and his son, okay? We'll read this. Aiden Hutchins was supposed to start fifth grade in Spruce Elementary. After living with his mother in Florida for over the summer, his father, Nick, was taking primary residential custody of Aiden and moving him back to Maine. See, for them to grant the father custody, you guys know the mother must have been a scumbag. Because you know that courts will give a woman custody 100% of the time, unless she does something really bad, okay? And then he says, but Aiden never made it back to Maine. He was found dead along with his half-sister. So she's not his daughter, right? In a home in Florida on Sunday. Their mother, Brandy Hutchins, I should say, Nick's ex-wife, had killed them and herself. At least she did one thing right. She finally killed herself. Most of these mothers, like this one here, this scumbag here, they say that they're going to kill themselves, but it's really just a plea for sympathy. This woman thought she was going to get off, and that's why she cried like a little bitch in court when they finally handed down her proper sentence. But this woman actually took her own life. But still, again, why is she killing her 19-year-old daughter? She's old enough. If she's living with her, she's probably not going to be with her much longer. She's 19. She's a grown young woman. This man is not running away with her, right? Well, let's read a bit. I just want to make sure this guy probably had joint custody at one time. So he talks about the son not arriving, okay? So the court order said Aiden was to be picked up by the sheriffs, right? Of course, look at this. The mother, she murdered her children and then shot herself. I can't imagine a more horrific set of circumstances. My heart breaks for all the family members. They always say this shit when a woman does the murdering. When the father murdered, they don't say, oh, my heart's breaking. They say, I hope that guy dies in hell. I hope he rots in hell. That's what they say. But we're devastated for this beautiful 10-year-old child, all because mom didn't want to turn the child over to its rightful father pursuant to a court order. What's missing here? They're not mentioning a 19-year-old daughter who was not the man's father or the man's child. And she was murdered. Why was she murdered? Now, again, look at this woman. This is a beautiful woman. She can pick up a man, a new one, in a heartbeat. So what it is these women here are the subject of extreme privilege and social dominance. They aren't suffering from some mental illness unless you consider social dominance a mental illness. They're so privileged and so dominant that the idea that they don't get everything 100% of their way causes them to go on an incel shooting. That's what these women aren't, everybody. They're incel shooters. They're incel moms. Do you understand that? And this proves what I'm talking about, because he said the primary residential custody agreement meant that Aiden was supposed to live with Nick in Jay and attend school there. But Brandy would still have visiting rights on school vacations and other times that were set out in an agreement. So it's not like she could never see him. She wasn't being alienated from her child. But what she was put in the typical father situation, where the father, the typical situation is that the boy's father would have to beg and put in effort to see his son. That's the standard. This woman was put in that situation, and she says, I can't live with this. I would rather go on a shooting spree. I'd rather go on a shooting spree and then kill myself. That's what this incel did. So this is what I'm ending off. Understand, guys, there are incel moms out there. That's what you call them. These are incel shooters. And the reason why society does not want to recognize them is because these women do their shooting spree within the family unit. But it's the exact same thing as this incel shooter. That's what you call them, incel moms. Thank you, everyone.